Hi, and welcome to KreatesKards YouTube video channel. I'm going to show you today how to do a new technique that I just learned called Acrylic Swirl. This is it on the card here. The center section is a stamped image, and then on the back we've used a white glue and reinkers to create the swirled effect. Okay. On the card, we've also used the Stampin' Up's new rhinestones to add accents. I'm also using the stamp set called Printed Petals, and it's this stamp here that I'm using. It's going to be really important when you stamp your piece of acrylic that you use a waterproof or a permanent ink. An ink like StazOn that Stampin' Up does sell, or our classic black ink that's waterproof. When you go to stamp on your acrylic, the acrylic is going to be slick, so it's going to be very important to stamp straight down with pressure and lift straight up with your stamp. Otherwise the image will smear. If it does smear, use a little bit of your scrubbing mist for your stamps and a paper towel, and that'll clear it, clean it up. Okay, another product that Stampin' Up sells is window sheets, and the window sheets are perfect for this technique. I have them on order, I just haven't received my order on them yet, so I am using a piece of acrylic. The acrylic's thicker and it's also stiffer, so the window sheet's going to be a little bit thinner and a little more pliable. So the window sheet is going to be perfect, especially if it's something you're going to mail. Either one works though, so you can use either. Alright, so let's get started. I've already stamped the image on the piece of acrylic. Once it is completely dried, then you're going to turn it upside down. Okay. Then you're going to take your white glue, and you just want white glue that is going to turn clear when it dries. And so, doesn't matter what brand, whatever you want to use is fine. You're going to take the center of your design, center of your acrylic sheet, and you're going to squeeze out some glue. You're going to want enough to cover the whole piece of acrylic, but you don't need a huge amount of ink. I'm sorry, it's not ink, it's glue. Alright, I'm using a sponge dauber. You can use your fingers, it washes off. And then just start circles. And you want it spread all the way to the edge. And I'm just doing little circular motions. Again, we want the complete piece of acrylic covered. You may need to add some more glue, but work with as little as possible. Don't add a whole bunch more until you truly know you need it. And you may get a little bit on your fingers when you get to the edges. Not a big deal, it washes off. Okay, so we have complete coverage here. You just want to make sure on your edges. Okay, looking good. You may have to go back in a little bit. Alright, then you're going to take your ink refills, and I'm using the classic Pear Pizzazz and classic Peach Parfait. They're two of our new in colors, and they're also the colors that I used both for the card, for the frame parts, and the inks in this card. So I'm sticking with the same colors for this. You're going to go ahead and you're going to just drop drops of ink. Squeeze out a little bit. Random across your acrylic sheet here. And again, it's something that we may end up going back in and adding a little bit more ink. But for right now, we're just going to do this. Almost done. You may want to use a little less, you may want to use a little more. It's kind of experimenting with the look that you want. Then go back to your sponge dauber and just start swirling. Where the colors meet, you are going to possibly pick up another color because of the two combining. So just be aware. If you're feeling you're getting too much ink, just pat it off on a piece of paper towel. If you decide you want more ink, then go ahead and add more in. And again, just a swirling motion. You don't want to completely rub it together. You want the distinct lines of color. I shouldn't say they're not distinct, but where we have unique areas of color so that they're not overlapping each other throughout the whole design. Okay, again, sponge dauber worked great with this. The first one I tried, I used my fingers, and although I was very successful with that, I ended up with a purple finger for the next couple of days. So I used a really deep, deep purple, and so it didn't come out as easily as I thought it was going to off my hand. Also, I didn't get to it right away to clean it. The one corner here has a little bit of an open space, and I want to make sure it gets covered. So I'm going to go back. Okay, there we go. Now what we're going to do, the dauber you can wash out with soap and water, a little bit of stamping mist. I would wash it first with soap and water. Otherwise, they're a relatively inexpensive tool. You could dump them if you want. But clean it because of the glue in it if you're going to keep it. And then after you've cleaned it with soap and water, then use your stamping mist. We're going to let this air dry. Don't use a heat tool in it, because with using the heat tool, you take the chance of the corners of the acrylic sheet curling, and we definitely don't want that. We want it to stay as flat as possible. So anyway, once it dries, again, it's going to take approximately 24 hours. Then we're going to turn it over. The stamped side is going to be on the outside. The swirled side is what's underneath. Just attach it with some dimensionals, double-sided adhesive tape, however you want to is fine. And then what I did is I took our frame punch and I cut out the little frames and I glued them on, and then I accented them with the new rhinestones that we have from Stampin' Up. Very pleased with the results, and that's it. I'm not going to, again, this has got to dry for 24 hours. So this is the end of the video. I hope you'll try it. It's an easy technique. Thank you.